Adjective in comparison or comparative adjective. A comparative adjective is an adjective used to compare two people or things. So, magamit ani to compare or to say that one person or things demonstrate a high degree of a quality. So, we often to use them together with word nga kuan than or in order to connect the two people or things we are comparing. So like for example, taller, smarter, and slower. So ang kaning adjective in comparison, kuan siya, nag-form ni siya from the position form of an adjective, which is the form of an adjective nga makita nato if mutan out ta sa atong Incredible Dictionary. So like for example, ang adjective nga brave, fast, and cute, muna siya ang adjective in the possession form. So we have a anang rules of for forming comparative form of a positive form of adjective. So first is one syllable adjective. Like for example katong brave, mo to mag-antag er at the end, mag-antag er. For example clear. So clear, mag-add ta nag er kay usa ra man siya ka syllable. So ang clear mahimo na nag clearer. Next, if the adjective end in y, use something replace the y with an I before adding er. So for example dry. So ang dry kaning y, change y to I, then add er. So ang dry mahimo na nig dryer. Next is one syllable adjective that end in consonant, vowel, consonant, double the final consonant before adding er. So like for example big. So ang big, i-double ni nato ang kanang consonant nga G, which is mahimo na ni double G, mahimo na ni unya, then pagkahuman mag-add na tag er. So big mahimo na ni bigger. Next is two syllables adjective that end y, drop the y, replace it with an I, and then add er if adjective and er, le, or o, add er in the end. So like for example kaning rainy. So duha man ni siya ka syllable, to syllable. So ang kaning y ma-change ni I, then add er, mahimo na siya rainier. And napay usa is ugly. Ang y ma-change siya po nag I, then add er. So ngari sa kanang sa o. So ang kaning o, for example ani is narrow. So mag-add ta og er diretso kay dili man siya y ang end. Next is le. When the end of the word is le, add na ta ani og r. So for example simply, simpler. Next is all other adjectives that are two syllables or longer, add the word more or less to the positive form. So like for example ani acceptable, daghan naman ni siya nga syllable. So mahimo na ni ang acceptable mahimo na ni more acceptable. Next is less. So from the word unmanageable, daghan po ni siya nga syllable. So we use less unmanageable. Next is the additional. So there are some adjectives that are irregular. This includes good, well, bad, far, and old. So before we proceed the additional, there are a few adjectives that are exception to the above rules. For example, the adjective with narrow and clever can use either the er or the more or less form. So however, we never use both forms at the same time. For example, someone is less clever. So, di ba? Dili siya kanang kuan. So, ang katong additional nga kuan nga kanang comparative adjective nga kaning good, well, bad, far, and old. So, kaning good and well kanang better na siya. It means better than ang bad, worse. So, word better is something used as a slang or non-standard comparative form of bad. Next is far. So far, some style guides may say that farther is preferred for physical distance and farther is preferred for figurative distance. However, these words are often used in interchangeably in every speech and writing. So next is old. Most of times sa atoa, old behave as a regular adjective and its comparative form is older. So sa tanan ani in general, though elder is not as a common use and many speakers and writers will use to the world order even if we're preferring to the people. So where do you include sa comparative sentence? So comparative sentence includes can be placed either immediately or before the noun or pronoun nga iya gi-modify, or it can be used as the subject complement together with sa kanang mga linking verb such as be and or seem. So example, I replace my old computer with a new one. So newer is a adjective. Then nagami then new ang one syllable nga new ni add to er. So that is the adjective. Next is Rachel look at the two dresses and decides to the more expensive one. So more expensive is the comparative adjective. Next is company claims that their next car will be faster and safer. So ang ilang car is faster and safer. So safer and faster is the comparative adjective. So kids today are lots of and more independent than they were just a decades ago. So ang kids is kung ano siya nga more independent. So more independent is a comparative. So adjective in comparative using sentence er, more, and less. So as what I said earlier, kanang if one kanang one syllable ra ang kanang word, kuan mag-add ta og er at the end. Then if more or less more than 2 syllable nga daghan na gani siya syllable, magamit tag more or less. So like for example, my employees are all younger. So younger is the comparative adjective. Comparative adjective. So young, from the word young, so usa ra man gid siya ka syllable, so we add er. Next is more independent. So independent is more than 2 syllables. So I use more. She retired from acting to try a less glamorous life in countryside. So kani is less glamorous. I use this sentence.